ye ya ye re zhen zhong yin je me de de je gong jiang ba si je len bo da ge ji be ge xia jie jia be ya la ge zan ze lo jian 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 de lo na ro dai mar ba ma la ji je gang bo ba pa mo zhe ba jar wai zhe gong be ka je la ma nan lai so wai de rong mei qi jie yan jie bo zhang ne de zong zang jie gen jie ngo wo nie ran zhen ji ge ngong zong dong zhe be za we la me ya la so wan de. Okay, so no. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Everyone ready, yeah? Okay, so now we are in the way of Bodhisattva. So way of Bodhisattva is composed by the Shantideva, has 10 chapters. All this teaching whole about the me essence is a bodhicitta, the excellent precious mind. So where it is unborn, may it arise, is the first 3 chapter. Then bodhicitta, excellent precious mind, where it is born, may it not decline, is this second 3 chapter. Then, but it bodhicitta, the excellent precious mind, but it will increase higher and higher. So that is the last 3 chapter. So now we are in the last 3 chapter. So last week we finished, I think we finished the joyful effort chapter at Tuesday we finished. So today we are in, I think it's a meditation chapter, right? Correct? Okay.
Correct.
So this meditation is chapter 8. This has also first introduction, then more detail explain about the causes of the condition about the meditations. So first is the introduction. Introduction, the verses 1, having developed enthusiasm in this way, I should place my mind in concentration. For the me whose mind is distracted dwells between the things of disturbing conceptions. So having developed enthusiasm in this way, we already talked about enthusiasm chapter. So we create or use the enthusiasm and pushing our accumulation merit. And all our 6 parameter practicing is pushing, enthusiasm pushing. The same is like with examples of wind. Wind is blowing or other object. So like that, enthusiasm pushing, increasing our accumulation merit. So long as you have enthusiasm, then I should place my mind in concentration. So we have to then practice meditate. This 6 parameter is a goal followed by 2 accumulation merit. So generosity, morality, participation is called accumulation merit. Then this meditation concentration and wisdom is called accumulation wisdom. So actually part of the view. Then enthusiasm is, follow the both. Enthusiasm, pushing the accumulation merit. Enthusiasm pushing the accumulation of wisdom. So the main point, this six parameter is subsumed into two categories. The first three is method. Last two is view. Enthusiasm helps both. So that's where you have to follow this category, this six parameter. Long as you have the enthusiasm, you have to ready to meditate, practice, concentration. The why we have to meditate. For the man whose mind is distracted, dwells between the things of disturbing conception. So if we don't meditate, then our mind is followed by thoughts and then controlled by emotions. So then that person is, easily create causes of suffering, causes of lower realms. So that person is easily falling into the lower realms. That's the reason we have to meditate to control our own mind. If we don't control our own mind, mind is followed by distracted, follow the distractions. So then it's easily arise emotions. So emotion is taking us into the lower realms. So that's the reason we have to meditate, control our mind. If we don't control our own mind, see, then it's not possible to stop the emotions. Create accumulation merit. Like you do the generosity, morality, participation is like reborn to the higher realms, or good things happening, result is, but that practice really still cannot take you to the enlightenment. So that's the reason we have to practice all these six parameters together. You cannot lose the one. Have to have come all together. So like your leg is the same as practice generosity. Your arm is the same as like practice your the morality, and your maybe head is the same as the practice we do the like the participation. Then same is like your the what is it, the other part which is important, body. Many things are important there, right? You cannot really pick out one is important. Actually all is important, yeah. So same is like that. Your heart is the same as this meditation. Your eye is the same as wisdom. So then all this work together is the same as joyful effort. So that's the reason we have to use all these six parameter, together. So you cannot lose like one part of the six parameter. Otherwise, like, we practice is like cannot really completion. You cannot reach the goal is enlightenment. So that's the reason even you have other parameter practice, we must have to have this meditation. So long as you meditate, then you can release all the emotions. Long as you can release emotions, then your liberation is like in your hand. It's very close there. So that's the reason this meditation is important. That is the introduction about meditation. So now about meditation is going share more detail explain. So about cause and conditions. So that also has like uh, another introduction and then more explain, detail explain again too. So this is verses 2 is like kind of also introduction too. But through solitude of body and mind, no distraction will occur. Therefore, I should forsake the worldly life and completely discard distraught conceptions. So, by through solitude of body and mind, person who meditate practice, so solitude of body and mind, we body like we don't have to do lots these worldly activities. Mind don't have to follow so much in the thoughts. So, and also that's the reason this meditations meditators are actually looking for the place first, the choice of the place. And that's I share in the stage of meditation book. There's shamatha meditation, beginning the, you know, how to finding the place, like 5 different kind of desires. We have to look to location, finding place. So the quiet place, you know, and no much distraction, and also blessing by these other practitioners, yogis, you know, they already went through the meditate practicing the place, and then no difficult, no condition is like easy to access, easy to you know access to the food and the clothes, what you need, and the more, you know, safety place, that kind of we need, you know, like kind of, we talk about the solitude, like solitary place. So that kind of place is good for the beginners, and that's why it's this section usually practitioner beginner followed by 2 different ways. Solitary place means like beginners quiet, no noisy, you know, peaceful place. It's called solitary place. And practitioner need like wailing the place, disturbing place, and difficulty areas. So they use that energy and for increasing their own practice. So that's why they're called the solitary place. It's more hard, difficult place. They both is like kind of, you know, different, cannot be same. So that is always followed by the individual practitioners. So long as we are beginners, we have to avoid the noisy and the distraction place, and must look to something, you know, quiet, peaceful. And that's why we're talking about a retreat. Means like always see the, like, you know, quiet, the trees, waters, birds, nature. So we always think, oh, this is a good retreat place. So that means like actually good for the beginners. And then of course like this practitioners go to the cemeteries and the war place, like the some area like war and many people die, difficulty, energy, you know, that kind of area, they use that energy practicing is more powerful for them. So that's the reason this everything has like depending individual level. So not always we say yes, everyone like that. Just it's a follow always depend the individual level. So this means like for more beginners, practitioners have to follow this way. Uh, so then no distractions where occur. The area no distractions. Therefore, I should forsake the worldly life uh, and completely discard, destroy conceptions. So that's why we just, uh, I should forsake the worldly life, worldly activity, stop that worldly activity, and go to the solitary place and meditate. Uh, so that's actually, mostly the practitioners does that way. The you can read all the histories like practitioner meditators. They all went to solitary place. So they're actually showing for us because we are beginner. If we stay in the town and the city and with the family, it's harder to practice and meditate. So you have all these worldly conditions that's always disturbing for you, your mind. And your mind is like shift very easily, sometimes like follow the like spiritual, sometimes easily follow the worldly thoughts because mind is not stable. Our mind is not stable. So that's when long as our mind is not stable enough, then that's time we have to follow this instruction. And that's why this even these high practitioners, if they don't really have to stay in the solitary place, but they actually help for beginners, showing for that, showing example for do have to follow that way. Also, we talk about Buddha Shakyamuni's story. Buddha is actually already enlightenment before, he was born. He enlightened all previous life already, but he come back to show this all 12 activities for us. So that's why we have to give up, worldly and go to meditate. 6 years Buddha went to meditate, right? So that's all showing for us, for the example. So that's why Shantideva also helping for these instructions for beginners. We if we are stay in the with worldly activity, harder to really practice and meditate. So we can just only like calm down our mind, release the thoughts go away, and it comes like just little bit peace, but then go back to again, same again. So same is like you create water is hot, and then you off the gas, turn off the gas, then go back to again. Water is cold down. So you make hot again, then go back to cold down again. So like that. We we practicing when we get these teachings and come together sangha. We really wanted to practice and then go back to home. It's going that kind of feeling is already gone. And then you come to temple, Dharma center, receive teaching like kind of this way of a Buddhist. Oh, I really wanted to practice. I want to really go to do something good things. That you get that feeling, go back to your home, lose again. So that's the reason the Shantideva just this one is like he talking about is like really truly want to practitioner and have to go to solitary place. So then that person is one lifetime can be enlightenment. So this way is like harder for just mostly people because we cannot give up everything, right, to go to solitary place. Too harder to do that. But then what we can do here, so this solitary place, log to solitary place, also just main point, you can stay at your home. Yeah. So you need to find your time to for practice. So like we have 24 hours one day, and you make time, like maybe one day, 24 hours, just take 1 hour for your stay in your shrine room, meditation room, something you create, and let go all these distractions. and meditate. So then 1 hour you have this solitary place. You practice like your meditation place, solitary retreat place. Then your minds go away all the thoughts, and then you don't have the distractions. So you can create that is in your home. So this situation is like actually we have to follow by our conviction. You know what we can do really best way, what we can find our life. So whatever here says, if you try to do that way, then you lose your practice dharma. You lose worldly life too. So become you are falling two extremes. Uh, so this way is like, of course, like some people can do this way, but not everyone. See, in the example with Tibetan history, Malarepa, yogi of Malarepa, and that kind of like many yogis that did that, but we then not for everyone. We have thousands of monks in the monastery gathering together. So there, that's also another way you still you have a practicing. You have another opportunity to practicing. Some practitioners they stay home, they have family, but they find their own time to for practicing dharma. So who has a family, and that person also get realized too. In the history of Tibet, many practitioners who has family, but they be with the family, they become they also realizer. Many practitioners, what they did, they use their home is solitary place. I think they really find the time for practice for themselves. They're not 24 hours used for energy for taking care of family. So they're just also time, many lots time is put in the effort for practice the dharma, and then also you have another part. You have to take care your worldly things, but that also energy is like used for the transforming, practicing dharma. So that way, you can, even you don't go to two extreme ways, but still you have some, chance to practice the dharma. So you have to recognize that. Otherwise, here in this meditation section chapter, is Shantideva share. This all is for the four monks and instructions. So actually, in right now we are 21st century lay people. It's very hard to follow this everything, but this really give you good, idea and wisdom. You can know you know how to do practice. Even you are at home, you can find some time to use this practice for dharma. So then we go to the verses third. It's more explained. So this first one has abandoned the worldly activity, and then also release the thoughts, reduce attachment. Many different levels coming here. So first one is like the we have to abandon the worldly things. Worldly life is not for seeking because of attachment to people, and due to craving for material gain and the like. Therefore, I should entirely forsake these things, for this is the way in which the wise behave. So, worldly life is not forsake because of attachment. We not easy to give up these worldly activities. The reason is because we have a so strong attachment, fixation to our life activities. And due to craving for material gain and the like. So we are attached to all these material things and worldly activity. So that's the reason very hard to give up these worldly things. Not easy. So who can give up worldly things? Then who didn't have attachment? That person can give up all these worldly things, right? So long as we have attachment, we cannot give up all these worldly things because it's so strongly craving for material gain and the like. So that's the reason we have to practice. We have attachment. We hard to give up this worldly activity, worldly things, worldly gaining, material gain and the like, these kind of things, hard to give up. That's the reason we have to meditate and practice. So therefore, I should entirely forsake these things, for this is the way in which the wise behave. So that's the reason who has wisdom, they meditate. The reason is meditation is antidote attachment. Reduce attachment, then so you can forsake attachment. You can worldly life is like life. You can forsake the worldly life. So you can reduce this attached to worldly life things. So main point Shantideva here giving us attachment. That's the reason hard to give up these worldly things. If we follow this way, we never ever possible to enlightenment, not possible free from samsara. So then that's the reason we have to meditate. So wisely, who has meditation, who has wisdom, that person practice meditate. Meditation is only antidote to attachment. Then you can give up the worldly things. Long as you give up worldly things, then you can liberate. So that's why this meditation is important. Meditation is antidote attachment. Release attachment, then you can give up the worldly activities. Long as you have a strong attached to the worldly things, then not possible to give up. So we have to give up, release first cause. Cause is attachment. Meditation is antidote to the attachment. So now, verses 4, having understood that disturbing conceptions are completely overcome by superior insight endowed with Khenpo Abiding, first of all, I should search for Khenpo Abiding. This achieved through the genuine joy of this unattached to worldly life. So we meditate this practicing Khenpo Abiding meditation. Khenpo Abiding meditation can release all our attachment. So emotions. So this practice is only, this Khenpo Abiding meditation only is antidote to the emotions. So this practice is only overcome to the emotions. That's the reason. First, spiritual insight endowed with the Khenpo Abiding, we have to meditate, practice Khenpo Abiding. Long as you meditate the Khenpo Abiding meditation, then you achieve through the genuine joy of this unattached to worldly life. So then you are no longer attached to worldly life. That time then you really have peaceful and joy. Truth, happy and truth, joy is arising in your mind. So that's why the Tibetan call Khenpo Abiding is a she. She means peace. peace, name is abiding, peacefully abiding. Your mind is peacefully stable, then long as you have that, you have truth happiness. So then you can see this, the direction is worldly people looking happiness is through the attachment. Practitioners looking happiness is giving up the attachment. So it's then through the attachment happiness is very temporary. That is become causes of actually suffering. Giving up attachment happiness is permanent happiness, is truth happiness. So that's the reason, the practitioner meditators looking happiness is permanent. Worldly people looking happiness is temporary. So temporary happiness is called change of suffering. Suffering of change, I think. Suffering of change. They're into the happiness, but that is change of become suffering. And this verses 4 is very important verses. These verses are usually also shared to in other teachings use this quote. Verses 4. So use Komo Abiding meditation, then you can achieve to the enlightenment. Is you get joy for happiness. So that's verses 4. So now we go to verses 5. Verses 5 is reduce attachment and our relatives, families, friends, So the reduce attachment with the people, beings. Because of the obsession, one transcendent being has 4 other transcendent beings. He will not see his beloved ones again for many thousands of lives. So actually, think about, we also impermanent. Our loved ones also impermanent. Impermanent attached to impermanent. That's actually so strong. Like we have desire attachment that way. Impermanent attached to impermanent. But that means not really anything, essence in there, good things in there. So if we follow that way, then our many life terms falling into the lower realms, samsara, again and again. So never get joy and happy if you like attach to our loved ones, so strong fixation to them, and then they're also attached to us. We attach to them, fixation to them. So this both are actually impermanent. It's always changing. If we follow that directions, then we create always causes of suffering. So we're falling into the lower realms. You never get true the happiness, future lives. So that's actually, we talked a lot up there already many times, similar, very similar verses, like teachings have lots of information, so same like this. Uh, so if say you love to, it's like here is the just a little bit different aspects. If you attach to your loved ones, and that's also impermanent because we cannot be always with them. So this love means like attachment love, strong attached to them, and then that we create like causes of suffering, taking care for of them. That's the reason we calculate the causes of suffering. That's the reason we future life falling to the lower realms. We don't meet again our loved ones again. So that means like our love these ones is also very temporary. So this section reduce attachment teaching. Very hard to we can accept because right now our mind is so strongly fixation attached to our loved ones. So this words is totally another side, other hand. That's why hard to accepting this kind of words our mind. But actually really truth, truth. Harder to accept the truth words. We don't want to hear the truth. So, long as you really like something, someone tell you, oh, don't, you cannot, attach to that person, or you cannot love that person. No one happy, So just everyone, what they have a mind and the thoughts strongly wanting something. Whatever you wanted to hear is like support for that. Oh, that's a good thing. Oh, that's great. You do this, then you're happy. Oh, that's not good. You shouldn't do this. Then no one happy. So that's why this is like, see, the main point is which way is going to the nirvana direction, which way is going to the samsaric directions. So we already chose the samsara directions, that we choose the samsara path. We are already into that path, so strong habitual, very hard to receive these instructions. Actually, it's really truth. So now we go to the verses 6. Not seeing them, I'm unhappy, and my mind cannot be settled and equipoise. Even if I see them, there's no satisfaction, and as before, I am tormented by craving. See, if you don't see your loved ones, you're not happy. If you really wanted to see them, really wanted to be with them, and my mind cannot be settled in equipoise. You cannot meditate, you cannot practice. Always thinking about them, so strong attached to them. Then even if I see them, there's no satisfaction. Then if you are be with them, then also not happy. Maybe disagree each other. And then you say, oh, I need space. You're going to say, I need space. I wanted to have some time myself, like something, then you don't want to be with them. So much disagree each other, and no is be with them is joyful. Even if I see them, there is no satisfaction. Then also there's you be with them is the no any satisfy anything there. So that's kind of we knows all this worldly, desire things. So that these two things, we have a problem. Worldly sentient beings have this problem, human beings. So that's why we don't have time to practice the Dharma, meditate, because all is just followed by these two different ways. Like some always wanted to be get family together, want to have together family. Some have that, but then also not satisfied. Some then doesn't want to be together. So all is changing these things, like follow. And so, and as before, I am tormented by craving. If you see them but also not satisfied, same is before you have this, tormented by cravings. Still desire is there, never end. So desire is never go finish, go end. you think about it, like you really wanted to see someone, and first there you have time to stay like 1 hour. Of course, then no satisfied, right? The 1 day is no satisfied, then 2 day no satisfied, one year no satisfied, then 10 years, 20 years no satisfied, always like that. So anyway, 1 day it's become separate. They never get any satisfied, just become impermanent, change, separate. So that's the we have the worldly, you know, all these situations. So now we go to verses 7. Through being attached to living beings, I am completely obscured from the perfect reality. My dissolution with the cyclic existing precious, and in the end, I am tortured by sorrow. So, if we are so strongly fixation to, you know, other living beings, then that actually strong obscuration is decreasing our wisdom. Then you don't really want to meditate and practice. So the reason is, see, this attachment is obstacle and block your wisdom. So that's then that obstacle arises. You don't want to do any practice dharma. You don't see the truth. You don't recognize true perfect reality. You don't recognize that. Then my dissolution with the cyclic existence precious. Then if you have like some renunciation to the samsara, or you have practice like, you know, four thoughts meditation, that also the qualities all go away. And we see this kind of situations, many people, you know, especially beginner, our practitioners, beginners, they're so exciting to the dharma, so exciting. So we say, okay, you have time, be patient, you know, be patient, and you can practice step by step. They really want to everything, wanted to practicing. No one really can stop them. It's so strong enthusiasm first. So then that time low see the like their situation that maybe family has difficulty, the job has difficulty, or something going on there. After that time there's then really renunciation, really wanted to practice the dharma, and often come to dharma center, meditate, practicing, you know, it's so enthusiasm. Then one day the family is become, or is correct again, what problem is solved, or your job is become already okay. So something is this problem, what do you have this you get renunciation samsara, that is fixed again. Then you cannot see that person again to practice dharma. They totally lost the renunciation and practice effort. So we have so many like that. What happened that because this reason, you know, still that so strong attachment in there actually. Uh, so some conditions you don't get into your attachment what you wanting. So then that time you want to go to the practice dharma, and some condition change. What do you want? This your, you know, desire attach things. You get that conditions. You found that, then you lose other part too. So that person actually didn't 100% give up dharma, but I see that, you know, what happened in your life. Then say, oh, I get job, I have family, so I don't have time to practicing. You know, like that kind of. Then they change the mind. So we have like that's kind of many people. The reason is because first, no basic instruction, teachings. So study and meditate, and just follow by the temporary, feeling. So that feeling is easily changed. That's why we have to practice four thoughts meditation first, like really, comes renunciation, truly renunciation arise in our mind. Then you are become very strong. These conditions you cannot shift to the, you know, directions. So long as you have really good practice four thoughts meditation, then you get all these worldly desire things, but still your Dharma practicing is never lost. It's there, stable. So you can keep going your practice is continually, even you have this worldly desire, whatever you have, that you have that, but still your practice is never lost, the Dharma practice. So many people didn't have enough, this four thoughts meditation. That's the reason, through being attached to living beings, then I'm completely obscure from the perfect reality. And that's obstacle to the perfect reality. Then you lose all this, your renunciations. So then endly what happened, and in there I am tortured by sorrow. So endly you then stuck in samsara again. You know, free from samsara. Then we go to the verses 8. By thinking only of them, this life will pass without any meaning. Furthermore, impermanent friends and relatives will even destroy the Dharma which leads to permanent liberation. So then you are really attached to, and your family, relatives only follow that way your life, thinking about that way, only follow your life. Then your life is passing without any meaningful. Just your life is like no anything useful. It's just go away, pass away. Then furthermore, impermanent friend and relatives. Actually, your relatives and your families, they're all impermanent. So only you thinking about your family and relatives, 100% focus for them, follow your life, then is your practice dharma also decreasing. The wherever destroy the dharma, the dharma actually leads to permanent liberation. Dharma really give you permanent happiness, but you are really attached to, strongly followed by desire, follow way to taking care of your family all the time that way, then dharma practice is become gone. So you don't have then permanent happiness because we don't practice dharma. The practice of dharma is leads to permanent liberation. If we don't practice dharma, then not possible to get permanent liberation. So that's we just see all these worldly people right now what they're doing, all these worldly people only thinking about in this life and friends, families, taking care of that, and then passing the life. No any meaningful. Then finally they don't really have any practice of dharma. No practice of dharma, no liberation. So no liberation, then still kept going samsara, same again and again. So now we go to verses 9. If I behave in the same way as the childish, I shall certainly proceed to lower realms. And if I am led there by those unequal to the noble ones, What's the use of entrusting myself to the childish? So if we follow the same as before, our life followed by this worldly people, exactly same, then we don't have any another choice. It's like future life is going to the lower realms. And if I'm led there by those, unequal, uh, noble ones, so then, uh, the main point is, uh, I am led there by those unequal to the noble ones. So noble one is unusual, means like unequal, like special. Actually, the noble beings is special. We don't get that directions. We just lose that direction. Then we're going to take to the samsaric path. What is the use of entrusting myself to the childish? Then we follow by actually childish people, means worldly people. What is useful life? Nothing is useful. Nothing is benefit us. So far, think about beginning last time until now, our life is followed by worldly, these childish people. What that does exactly, we follow that way. If we follow that way, we lose the Bodhisattva's path, noble one's path. Then we follow the worldly, these people's path, like samsaric path, then we don't get any benefit us in this life, future lives. So future life is more suffering. So that means just main point, Shantideva said, give up attachment to these worldly beings. Don't keep going same as these worldly beings together. This worldly being is childish, means no any wisdom, only seeking temporary happiness. This means no one knows how to create permanent happiness. Only these noble beings knows how to create a permanent happiness. So we follow these worldly childish beings, then we cannot go with these noble beings. If we don't follow the noble beings, we cannot possible to liberation. So that's the main point there. So now we go to the verses 10. One moment they are friends, and in the next instantly they become enemies. Since they become angry even in joyful situations, it is difficult to please ordinary people. So one moment these people can befriend us. You do something benefit for them, they become friends. And in the next instantly they become enemies. So you don't know, like you say something wrong, you don't do something what they're wanting, then they become enemies. Since they become angry even in joyful situations. Even you create something joyful, but this worldly childish beings, maybe they create anger, you know. So you do something good conditions, like something create the causes of happiness for them, but they're not happy. So you create something causes of suffering, they are happy. That's the worldly childish beings, right? And it's difficult to please ordinary people, very hard to take care of ordinary people. That means just you really cannot like 100% trust things, like especially when you're going to practice the Dharma, and you cannot relying on to these worldly childish beings. If you relying on to the worldly childish beings, then you're not possible into the spiritual path. If you try to please these worldly people, you never ever get into the spiritual path. So that's the main point. If you don't get in the spiritual path, you cannot liberation. So still, we are kept going same is like previous life. It's a samsara, stuck in the samsara. This is really truth, you know. So we have friends, like we don't know how long these friends. Enemies, we don't know how long enemies, because it's always changing. So this whole this world, see, countries, they're all the time changing, you know. So change the, you know, leaders, change the policies, always change these countries, look to all this world, like how many countries that 200 something. There's some years they go to really friendly, some years they go to enemies fighting, you know, always changing. And the same like that, you know, our in the everything like come down to the our like city, neighbors, family, friends, all is changing. Nothing is permanent. It's always changing. So that's why. So main point is you cannot really relying on to this practice dharma is relying on to worldly people, and you cannot practice dharma with pleasing to the this you know childish people. You pleasing them, make happy them, then you have to follow same. It's like previous life. So you have to go there wishing what they want. You have to follow that way. Mm. Uh, so then we'll go to verses 11. They are angry when something of benefits is said. And they also turn me away from what is beneficial. If I do not listen to what they say, they become angry and hence proceed to lower realms. If you say something, you know, good for them, they're angry. Like I already told you, you know, you telling them do something good things, causes of happiness, that not going to listen to you. Okay, like think about in the fishing people, you tell them don't do this. So this karma is not good for you. They don't happy for you. Okay, so like that, these worldly people, childish beings, they have something desire. If you telling them even really benefit for them, you giving information, don't do these things, they're not happy. They are angry when something of benefit is said. Uh, and they also turn me away from what is beneficial. If you also have something beneficial, they also turn away from that. So they take you to the causes of suffering, not the taking you to the create you conditions, take you to the something causes of happiness. If I do not listen what they say, they become angry and hence proceed to lower realms. See, uh, if you don't listening to them, they're not happy, angry. Then create, you know, causes of lower realms. Take to the lower realms. So that's why it's this practitioner meditators that thing, you know, hard to be with childish beings. That's why they give up worldly things. No, so many people can't do this way, you know. So think about the yogi of Malarepa and many like that kind has these qualities, but mostly worldly people don't think this way. It's not easy to give up worldly things. So then verses 12 is a really good one. Verses 12. They are in us of superiors, competitive with equals, arrogant towards inferiors, conceited when pressed, and if there anything unpleasant is said, they become angry. Never is any benefit derived from the childish. So we know this one. We also have this experience because we have emotions. So long as we have an emotion, we have, jealous to our superiors, like something better than us. So these worldly things or spiritual, whatever, we are jealous to them, superiors. Then competitive with equals, like worldly activity things, and any spirituals, whatever, like we have competitive with this, like same is like our, uh, situation, like, understanding with equals. Especially, like you know someone each other very well, then you have a jealousy and you have these competitions. So this good thing right now is like we stay in the big cities, we don't know each other, so that's why less jealousy, less competitions each other. Even you don't know who's that, your neighbors. And if you are staying in the small villages, everyone knows, even the families or the background situation, everything they knows. Stories, background, everything. And then the, of course, the villages knows each other, person each other, family knows each other. Then they have this jealous each other, competition each other, is then also they have a aggregates towards to the inferiors. So treat like the lower ones, like who didn't have much power, material gains, then they're treated like really bad for them. Like that kind of going on so much in the villages. Then communities also too. Long as you have like something community together, like know each other, then this kind of like problem comes. So you stay in the big city, you don't know each other much, then less this problem. But still, these contradictions causes is there. Causes emotion. Long as emotion, when this contradiction arise, this problem is there. So you are stay in the big cities, you don't have much this contradiction arise right away there. But actually, cause is there. Long as you have emotion, cause is there. So if I do not, then, or if inferiors, conceited when pressed. So if you press to them, then become egoists arise. And if any unpleasant is said, they become angry. If you say something unpleasant words, they're really upset and angry. Never is any benefit derived from the childish. Then never ever you can benefit for these childish beings. So the main point is Shantideva has sharing is this teaching. That time also 100% is monastic monks. His order is, and he telling them is just give up attachment to your family and relatives. Otherwise, you cannot practice the dharma. So he telling that, instructions for them. So no, also you can, our case means like you have family, you listening this, you understanding, you get more wisdom arise. Still you can be with your family friend, whatever you can benefit for them, you can do that, but you're not really stuck, with them through attachment. So your wisdom is increasing. Long as your wisdom is increasing, then you less attachment desires, then you really knows how to take care of your family and relatives, your neighbors. So there's a really good instruction, of course, like which situation we have, like you are monastic, this is really good instruction, and you are, the householder, also very good instruction. This householder is so strong attached to family, relatives. The actually they create suffering each other. If you study these verses, then you not create causes of suffering each other. You really create causes of happiness each other. Become your family is meaningful. It's you like good family become. So that's the reason you have to understand, standing these verses take to your life practice, which way you can change your situation. Don't think about, oh, I don't want to listening this because I really love my family. Not like that case. You can love your family, but so you cannot create causes of suffering your family. If you really love your family, you have to listen these instructions. So these worldly people love your families, but then create causes of suffering each other. Cause of suffering is in this life and the future life too. So these words, instructions, it give you more wisdom arise, and you understand anyway, like how you take care of your family and the relatives, your friends, and you knows how to dealing with them. Through associating with the Chadish, they will certainly ensure unwholesomeness, such as praising myself and bulleting others, and discussing the joy of a single existence. So, through associating with the childish worldly beings, they will certainly ensure unwholesomeness. So, create like always non-virtuous deeds, such as like praising myself. Praising myself is like causes of become ego. Then also and bulleting others, so pushing down other people, and become you create your pride, and discussing the joys of a single existence. They talk about all these worldly things, situations. So this actually causes of attachment and the desire. So that's we know. So like whatever we talk worldly things is causes of desire and attachment. So that's actually is big obstacle for our spiritual path. They like to talk about samsara. They like to talk about this worldly things. They like to talk about negative things. They like to share that. They like to hear the press to us. They like to like unpleasant things or this bulleting others. This is childish beings. The naturally like follow that way, because already used to that directions. So hard to stop that. If long as you be with the childish people, these all conditions arise. So that's why if you be yourself, you don't have these conditions. That's why it's Shantideva says, stay in the solitary. Solitary means like be with yourself. Don't go with these childish people together. So Okay, so then if you be with other people, you can create all these causes of happiness, talking about the spiritual benefit each other, then that's a great thing, you know. So it's that is like very good. But long as you cannot do that, then Shantideva said, don't be with other these childish people. Mm. So verses 14. Developing myself to others in this way will bring about nothing but misfortune. Uh, because they will not benefit me and I shall not benefit them. So then we follow this always childish people together, worldly people, worldly beings. That's actually destroy our future lives, our happiness. Actually, that create causes of suffering. That nothing benefit for us, that nothing benefit for others. The main point, like you follow these childish beings with together, talk about all this worldly activity, worldly things, then that's no any good for you, no good for others, no benefit you, no benefit others. Then we go to verses 15. I should feel far away from childish people. When they are encountered, though, I should please them by being happy. I should behave very merely out of outless courtesy, I think, courtesy, but not become greatly familiar. So some people maybe you think, oh, you know, how about the love and the compassion for others? So you can love, you can compassion for others. That's the reason you have to do this way. Otherwise, you create the causes of suffering for others, right? And the causes of suffering yourself. So if you love yourself, you love for others. If you have a compassion for others, that's the reason you have to do this action. I should feel far away from childish people. So stay far away from childish people. If you're too close with them, then you lose your practice, right? You lose your passion. So you create a desire and attachment yourself. That is not good for you. If you're too close with them, they are attached to you. They are maybe hatred to you. So you create this all causes of suffering for them too. So that's why Shantideva said, I should feel away from childish people, stay far away. When they are encountered, though, I should please them by being happy. So when you see them close, then you just say please them, like, you know, like not create like unhappy for them, just create something happy and say good words and make, you know, joy for them, create happiness for them. But I should behave very merely out of courtesy, but not become greatly familiar. Don't create too, you know, friendly and something like strong relationship each other. So still, like, you know, your how to say the strongly like you're stable, you know, like make self protection yourself, self protection, you know. And same is you have to recognize, like right now we have this coronavirus, so we stay in the social distance. Why we have to stay social distance? Because we don't want to harm them. They don't want to harm us. That's why we stay social distance, right? And when you see like you can talk distance like each other nicely, but don't to go too close to each other. So otherwise the virus comes to each other, right? No great for each other. That's why Shantideva said, not become greatly familiar. So then what we have to do, I should behave very merely out of courtesy, just understanding each other, good for have each other, but not really too strongly, fixation to each other or attached to each other, like kind of just not too close to each other, okay? So that's a good example for virus here we have. Just think about what we right now doing. Just Shantideva said, do same like that way. Don't close to with worldly discharged people, otherwise causes of suffering each other. So you have to know how you take care of them. Then this is an example, verses 16 is, in the same way as a bee take honey from a flower, I should take merely what is necessary for the practice of Dharma, but remain unfamiliar as though I had never seen them before. So this bees, take honey from the flower, but then bee is flower. So same is like that. Should merely what is necessary for the practice of Dharma. So what we have to do something, good things, create each other. So then be together, and but remain unfamiliar. So not too strongly, fixation to each other. Just make boundaries, like don't to, like create causes of suffering, like strong attachment each other. But remain unfamiliar as though I had never seen them before. Just recognize not really seen before much. So that means like you not really can attach to them. So that's you really create you don't create causes of attachment. You don't create causes of anger. Main point. So main point, you can create causes of happiness. Same is like bees. Take the honey from the, from the flower. So you can create causes of happiness. You don't become, you are no condition, causes of attachment. You are no condition, become causes of anger. So that means then you can help others when you can help others. So you have a more kind of a, like no bias, because you not attached to someone, no hatred to someone. So you be like neutral conditions. Long as you have a neutral conditions, then you can benefit others. If you don't have that conditions, like you attach to and hatred to you goes these two either ways, then you cannot benefit. You are biased, become you are biased. So you don't really have the unconditional love. You don't really have a, unconditional compassion. But this world looks like, oh, you don't love other people. You don't love other beings. But actually, you really love other beings. You really have compassion on other beings. You don't really create causes of suffering. You are no condition of causes of suffering. People don't really attach to you. People not really hatred to you. So you also no hatred to others, no attached to others. You are become neutral, and then your mind is more liberating, wisdom arise. So then you can help others because you no attach, you no anger, and you have more, wisdom because no bias there. You are neutral. So otherwise you go into the bias. You don't have equanimity. So use this practice, like become you create equanimity for others. So right now, think about this worldly people talk about to benefit others. We have to do something good things for others, but all is based on attachment and aversion and bias. So really don't have a truth, equanimity. Use these conditions, then you have wisdom, you can have equanimity conditions, no bias at others. Make sense or no understanding correctly? So otherwise, like, where's the Bodhisattvas? Bodhisattvas don't want to be other beings. They give up totally others. So of course they give up attachment for others. They give up hatred to others. That's why they have equanimity. They use these conditions. Uh, then verses 17 is this is like verses 17 is a change, like also focusing, focus, like ab- abandon the attachment, change the focus. So now this part is like material object. We are attached to material object. Like we have to abandon the material object. So then someone say, "Oh, I really attached to these worldly things. So I don't want someone stop this worldly, material gain. Someone stop me that. I don't like that." So then Shantideva giving this instruction for them. I have a much material worth as well as honor, and many people like me. Nurturing self-importance in this way, I shall be made terrified after death. So someone say, I really like, this material worth, and I really like my honor. So who stop me that I hatred to them? So that means you have attachment, you have anger. So Shantideva say, I have much material worth and as well as honor. So you have a material uh, and also honor, other people's honor you, and maybe like if you are spiritual, let's say the people offering to you, praise to you, or you are worldly, like you are business, you have become successful, and many people like all honor you, so you are the great, you have this business is your successful, your or politician is successful, you are powerful, you are great person, or whatever this, uh, material worth as well as honors, and many people like you, like me, and if we follow this way, nurturing self-importance in this way, I shall be made terrified after death. So when we die, this nothing is come with us. This all worldly things not benefit us anyway. So in this worldly, your business is successful, your family is successful, whatever you successful, people honor you, you have become famous, you have power, whatever you have these good things, successful in the worldly things. When you die, this nothing is come with you, that nothing benefit you. So then that is become all is causes of suffering. I shall be made terrified after death. Because when you die, so you attach to this what you left behind. So that is obstacle your mind is liberation. And then so who take from where from you this worldly gain things, you losing, you hatred to them. So all is the causes of attachment and anger. That's why this worldly, material worth and honors is not benefit us when we die. verses 18. So you truly confuse the mind by the pulling up of whatever objects. You are attached to misery, tossing forward very insure. So Shantideva said, your mind is, confused. Truly confused your mind. The reason is like by the pulling up of whatever objects, whatever your mind is attached to the object is become attachment. You are attached to that object, then misery, tossing for the very issue. So that attachment is a causes of suffering, thousand times suffering again and again. So if you attach to, like example, $1 bill, you have 1,000 times suffering that create you that one object. So that's why he said you are attached to, misery 1,000-fold very issue. So that's true, like something goes wrong, one condition take you to misery 1,000 different kind, create causes of suffering. That's why, so here Shantideva says, hence the wise should not be attached, because fear is born from attachment. With a firm mind, understand where that it is the nature of these things to be discarded. So, okay, main point here, Shantideva said, who has wisdom, who has knowledge, that person should not attach to the object. The reason is attachment create fears. Fear is come from attachment. So we don't want fears. So then so with the film, mind, understand well. So then you understanding all this like situation, what is the causes of suffering, what is really causes of happiness. So you understanding, your mind needed to understand, and they needed to stable. That is the nature of these things to be discarded. Then the something, this object is the causes of suffering, the brain, the desire, attachment, that is the causes of fear. So you recognize that, abandon that, your mind needs stable. Then you are become wise people, means like you really understand what is the causes of samsara, what is the causes of nirvana. Go to verses 20. Although I may have much material worth, be famous and well spoken of, whatever fame and renown I have amassed has no power to accompany me after death. So it's very similar. It's verses 17, 20 is. If we get lots of material worth, and also if you are become famous and everyone prays to you, were spoke of. So whatever fame and renown I have amassed, whatever you have, so has no power to accompany me after death. So that's not going to accompany with you. So we can see the, powerful people, richest people, and who has like great families. When they die, they all whatever they has is useless. Nothing is benefit for them. That is actually really harm for them, causes of suffering. Uh, so that's why Shantideva has no power to accompany me after death. So nothing is that's going to benefit us. Uh, so when we was born uh, with this body, when we die, even body also cannot come with us. So only follow the karma, cause and the effect. So that's we have to understanding these verses. Then we go to the 21. If there is someone who displeases me, what pleasure can I have in being praised? And if there is another who press me, what displeasure can I have in being despised? Uh, if there is someone who, despises me, like say bad things for us, then what pleasure can I have in being praised? Someone praised, why we attach to that? Because you have, also people telling you unpleasant, displeasing to you too. So that means you don't have attached to that. And then another hand, so that means like you reduce attachment. Another hand is like you can reduce anger. If someone press to you, then also they have another people telling you unpleasant to you, saying unpleasant words to you. Then why hatred to that person? Because someone telling you good things to you again. So that main point is you be neutral, equanimity. Don't follow to attention to the someone praise to you. Don't hatred too much. Someone telling you dispraised you. Just stay neutral and recognize these all childish beings. They please you, they unplease you. If you follow by the childish people, then you are just not stable. Because we call the prefly is put in the top of the mountain. Prefly top of the mountain, the wind keep blowing everywhere. Wind come from north, then you blow it to other side. When blowing to south, you blowing other directions. So the prefly is never stay like calm and peace there, because always the wind blowing. So your mind is the same. Is like prefly put in the top in the mountain. And the top in the mountain always have wind. So then the wind blow away this prefly. Same is like your mind is like that. You are always be with the childish. You always hear the good things about you. You always hear bad things about you. So you only follow by these words. Then your mind is the same as a prefly. You don't have a stable. You don't have peace for anything. Okay, so now we go to the next verses 22. If even the conqueror was unable to please the various inclinations of different beings, there what needed to be mentioned in evil persons such as I. Therefore, I should give up the intention to associate with the worldly. Uh, there are so many diversity sentient beings. So uh, that's the reason. Even the conqueror was unable to please everyone. Buddha cannot make everyone happy. Then the reason is the various inclination of different beings, so many diversity beings. They want needed to mention in evil person such as I. Buddha has 100% positive qualities. No attachment, no hatred, no bias. He has equanimity. But still, he cannot make everyone pleased. Then think about ourselves. We cannot make everyone, make happy, pleased. Because we have emotions. So long as we have emotions, how can we make everyone is happy? This word is really good, like sometimes like you see, oh, the people upset for you. And you think, even we don't do something wrong, but anyway, people upset and the people blame you, telling you, no good things. They think about these words, okay, of course, like they're going to tell me. Even Buddha has 100% good qualities. So many people still telling, bad things or like criticize to the Buddha too. And I watch his life story, and then that makes me strong actually. Because see of course, like Buddha, he has all these qualities. Still, these beings does like this. Of course, these people don't me easily. I'm ordinary person, right? It's uneasily we can accept this people, create a difficulty problem for us. We can accept that easily. Long as you can accept, then not that hard. If you can't accept that, then it's really hard and difficulty. Yeah. So then I see also like many spiritual teacher who has really good qualities. Many people doesn't like, many people criticize them. I see that, then I recognize, oh yeah, childish people, someone telling me bad things, okay, of course they're going to tell me bad things. Like, see, these good teachers who has good qualities, these people criticize them, of course they're going to criticize me. Then I can accept that. Long as I accept that, then that not really that word harm to me, I can release that words, liberating that words. So that's a good one. You can, use that often. Think about these words. Someone make you hard and difficulty. If you have problem, you're doing things for, something harming for others, then they criticize. You have to accept that, my problem, But something you don't do anything but criticize you, think about these words. That's really helpful for you too. So enter Buddhahood, we have to use these words. You think, oh, no one going to criticize me. Of course, right now you are in your home, and maybe you don't have like really powerful gaining material things. On people honor you, become not yet famous, then you less these problems. One day you are become more famous, the more people criticize you, right? And you have more benefit others, then people more criticize you. And we have to go through this situation. So even right now we don't have these conditions, but someday comes this situation come to us. So if you work for other beings, do something, benefit others, then people criticize you more. If you stay at your home, you don't do anything, no one criticize you. But that way, like you cannot reach Buddhahood, right? So anyway, we have to come out to do things. We have to go through these many situations. Then this word is great to think about. These words give you strength. These words give you very confident and strong. Yeah. So otherwise, like You wanted to do something good things right away that people criticize you, then you lose your effort. You're going to give up, you're not going to do again. So if you do that, then you never ever completing anything. Not going to anything become successful. If you wanted to do become your successful something, done good things, benefit others. So all this kind of people criticizing and against you, that things often arise. So that time, think about these words. When what needed to mention in evil person such as I, so then we really also recognize our problem. Oh, I have emotion, I have anger. Of course, these people are going to criticize me, So recognize our problem, and also we can accept other people's whatever they says. Therefore, I should give up the intention to associate it with the worldly. So this one, therefore, I should give up the intention to associate it with the worldly. Has think about some people give up worldly activity things, go to solitarily. You can think that way also, okay. Or you can think, I should give up the intention to associate it with the worldly. Whatever that says, just no hatred to that. What people telling you, honor you, not attached to that. What people criticize you, not attached to that. Then you are already, should you give up these worldly things. So that is like more, uh, the main point or essence, like you really give up the worldly things. No hatred to, no attachment. Someone prays to you, no attach. Someone criticize you, no hatred to you, to that person. That just try to bring equanimity, and then that is like you give up the worldly things. So no, this actually worldly, give up worldly means they talk about 8 things, other like usually teachings. I should give up the intention associated worldly. So many practitioners give up these 8 worldly things. Who can give up this worldly 8 things, number 8 things, then that is called Dharma practitioner. Who cannot give up this worldly, these 8 different things, then that is become still, not really practitioner, Dharma practitioner, just creating worldly activity. So 8 things is like tu, and me Tibetan means tu is like press to you, me is like become criticize you, despise you. That is true. So then you are attached to joy, hatred to suffering. That is become 4. You are become attached to worldly gaining material things, and you don't get material, gaining worldly things, unhappy and upset. So that is become 6. Someone telling you, really good words, like kind of similar, like, first one. Nyi means like pleasant word to you, unpleasant word, hatred to you, to that. That's have 8 things, Do you get 8 then, number 8? Each one like follow 2. First one, press and, displaced. They're already 2. Attached to joy, hatred to suffering. 2, already 4. attached to material gaining things. Someone stop you material gaining things and hatred to that, sex to there. Then last two is 7 and 8 is hearing pleasant words and unpleasant words. So long as you have this, attached to hatred to these things, then we are still in the followed by these worldly, activities, gaining the worldly things attached to that. So practitioner means giving up that the worldly attached to things. So now we go to the 23rd. They score those who have no material gain and say bad things about those who do, how can they who are by nature so hard to get along with, ever derive any pleasure from me? So this is a really, really good word too. The verses. That's right now is always like this. The society and the community has this problem. Even this, the Buddhist community has this problem, big problem. They scorn those who have no material gain, and say bad things about those who do. So think about actually in the monastery also, like some teachers didn't have material gains, then because he don't have good, they criticize. If someone gain material things, then they also criticize too. And so same thing, they also we know worldly way people just who has become success for power and the material object, people doesn't like and criticize. And someone doesn't have good anything, they also criticize too for them too. So example, like there's skin those who have no material gain, like some thing about Malarepa. That time so many criticize him, even his sisters criticize him too, because they said you don't have any material gain. I never ever see before Dharma practitioner same as you, she told him. Or this Dharma practitioner has a material gains. So you are completely opposite of that. You don't have a material gains, you are no Dharma practitioner. You are lose all this worldly, you are lose Dharma, both. She think that way too. And then many, that time, of course, like worldly people think Malarepa is lose no Dharma practitioner because he don't have a material gains. They all criticize him. So same thing right now, like really good practitioner, they don't follow the material gains. They don't have any material gains. Very poor practitioners, they criticize them too. They don't think, oh, he's important because that they don't like me. They're just direct words. They don't have money. Then they cannot support for monastery, okay, community. They cannot build the school, cannot build the temples, cannot create the statues. They say, oh, it's bad. They don't care about that practitioner, material gain, because they don't have that, and say bad things about those who do. Then some like who has good this material gains, who build the temples and okay, the also who build the hospitals, schools, And so who has material gains, then also people criticize them too. They say, oh, he's cheating people, you know, and it's them that come from corruptions. And he corruptions, like did something bad. He lied people, he cheating people, he did something. That's why he not practicing Dharma, he attached to material gains. So all criticize too. How can they who are by nature so hard to get along with? So how to get along with these worldly people? Either derive any pleasure from me. So how can make them happy and how can become their, you know, like satisfied? Not possible anyway. Yeah. Example in Tibet right now, think about people who practitioner is stay in the monastery and the solitary retreat practitioners, then they don't care about them. They say, oh, this no anything matter. Is then who go to teaching other countries, they also criticize them. Oh, he's follow the matter against, you know. So many people does like that. Mm. So when Garchen Rinpoche, he lived from Tibet, there many people criticize first time. They say, oh, he's seeking for offerings. That's why he left Tibet. He wanted to gaining materials. That's why left. So that kind, you know, people does. And the people then who stay in the really solitary practicing, they don't care about them too. Again, they say, oh, he don't get anything. No one can care about this person, you know. So anyway, like that kind of the in Tibet, I told you example. So all is like everywhere has like that problem. What do you think about who's successful, businessly, powerfully, people doesn't like. And someone don't have, people doesn't like. So anyway, no one like. Whatever direction you go, so people doesn't like. Always they criticize you. So that means worldly people never satisfied, never happy. You can make them happy and joy. So that main point Shantideva giving us, your mind needs stable. Whatever people says, don't lose your focus. Don't lose your path. Don't lose your devotion. You know, you the just don't lose your spiritual practicing. Stable. Whatever people says, don't follow that. Main point, you have to make decision yourself. You need stable. You need, you know, patience, effort, enthusiasm. It's all this like see practicing. Mind is stable. So we need patience. We need enthusiasm. We need meditation. Need mind. Need stable. So all these three comes together. This problem, this one is no any problem. So long as you don't have a patience, long as you don't have enthusiasm, long as you don't have meditate, your mind is not stable, then this makes you blowing. So I told you, we have become same as a prayer flag. Then you don't have your directions. You never ever going to success for anything, worldly things or spiritual. So now we go to 24. It has been said by the Tathagatas that one should not befriend the childish, because unless they get their own way, these children are never happy. So Buddha said, you know, that one should not befriend the childish. So this childish means like just ordinary people, you know, who has emotions. That is a childish means. They cannot be just friend because they're always changing. Because unless they get their own way, if they don't get their own way, then they're not happy. This children are never happy. So think about it, parents has children. It's whatever parents says, children what they want, they don't happy. They doesn't like parents. If their parents, if don't follow the children what they says, they're never happy. So parents actually really love them. They want happy. They're telling them don't do something like stupid things. Then childish people, childish children really want that. Whatever parents say, they don't listen. They're not happy. So we know that. That's why children, parents, always children is a winner. Parents is a loser. The reason is because parents has a love children. And the children cry, the parents like buy the toys what they want. I see they sometimes go to the shops there, children cry like something, they see something, the parents buy these things for them, make them happy, because that means children is a winner, parents are loser. So you see that, then Buddha said, like, actually all this worldly people is childish because it's emotion. If you want they are happy, you loser spiritual anyway. You have to lose spiritual part. Otherwise, you cannot make happy them. Because always childish want their own way. So if you follow that, you can be loser your spiritual way. That's why Buddha said you never ever can make they are happy. Okay, so now I think finish it. I want to share this one. 25, good one. When share I come to river in forest, amongst the deer, the birds, and the trees that say nothing unpleasant and are delightful, so associated with. So we can run away from these childish beings. Go to the solitary place. When share I come to river in forest, you go to forest, meditate, practice, retreat, among the deer, birds, and the trees, they say nothing unpleasant. Then nothing may you said things, bad things for you. They're not going to create you causes of anger. They don't create causes of attachment. They're always pleasant. The nature is always pleasant and are delightful to associated with. So you with them is always happy and joy, right? So you stay with them. Nature always you joy. So that's why all these yogis run from the home. They went to the forest. Then there are become, the how to say the main point, they are free from suffering. They always have a happy and the joy. It's like they get the permanent happiness and the joy. They found. They know how to find that. So that's why they're going into the retreat. If you are being this retreat, then you always have a mindful and alertness. You can practicing Dharma. You don't have distractions. So long as you don't have distractions, then 24 hours you are into the practicing Dharma. So you don't have to really create time to practicing, all 24 hours is time for practice. So we are into the stay with home, with a family, worldly, stuck with worldly activity. Then we have to create a time to, practicing Dharma. Like say today we you create like 2 hours time to listening teaching, right? And so example, we have 24 hours, you use for 2 hours practicing Dharma. And other 22 hours is worldly, yeah? As long as you are being into the forest, then 24 hours is your practicing Dharma. So change like all this hour is shaped to the direction. So that's why it's solitary places is become, it's good condition for the beginner practitioners. Malarepa has really good realization songs in this situation, these areas. So he said, I really scared, fear to death. That's why I run from home to forest, solitary place. So now free from death, fear from death, fear free from death. So I am realized a yogi. And he said, when I die, no one looking for me. No one asks where is he goes. No one knows where I went. And no one going to cry when I die. So that is like the pleasant. He said, that is the pleasant. That is joy. So that's he satisfied. That kind he has really good realization songs in this section. So Shantideva also, when he shared this way of Bodhisattva, he didn't stay in their monastery. If he stay in the monastery, what he says here, and then his teaching and he doing is become, no goes together, right? If he shared this teaching, he stay in the monastery, then he has all these honors. And he gained the spiritual, the material things and honors, praise. And so he flew away. He shared this, he gone. He didn't attach to anything. He went to the despair in the forest. Okay, so we live here. Today, create your home is forest, okay? That's why I wanted to live here today. Thank you. So we do the dedication. Okay, measure in the road, please. Can you chant the prayer?
Yes, Khenpo.
Thank you.
In the center is the marvelous Buddha, Amitabha of boundless light. On the right side is the Lord of great compassion, and on the left is Vajrapani, the Lord of powerful means. All are surrounded by limitless Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. Immeasurable peace and happiness is the blissful pure land of Dewa Shen. When I and all beings pass from samsara, may we be born there without taking samsaric rebirth. May I have the blessing of meeting Amitabha face to face. By the power of the blessings of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas of the 10 directions, may we attain this aspiration without hindrance. Teyata pensadriya awa bodhanaya soha. Bodhicitta, the excellent and precious mind. Where it is unborn, may it arise. Where it is born, may it not decline, but ever increase higher and higher. By this virtue, may I achieve omniscience. By defeating all enemies, confusion. May all who travel on the waves of birth, old age, sickness, and death cross the ocean of samsara. as Manjushri the warrior realized the ultimate state, and as did Samantabhadra, I would follow in their path and fully dedicate all the merit for all sentient beings. May the teachings of the great Trikungpa Ratna Shri, who is omniscient, Lord of the Dharma, Master of interdependence, continue and increase through study, practice, contemplation, and meditation until the end of samsara. Thank you, Khenpo. Thank you.
Thank you, Khenpo.
Thank you,
Khenpo.
Thank you, Khenpo.
Thank you, Khenpo.
Thank you.
Thank you, Khenpo, for these great teachings.
Thank you, Khenpo.
Thank you, Khenpo.
Thank you so much.
See you tonight.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Khenpo. Thank you, everyone. Tashidile.
Thanks. See you later.
Bye. Yeah.
Thank you.
I guess we'll meet at 7.
Yes.
Good.
Okay. I'll see you then.
Okay. Bye, everybody. I'm dissolving you.
See you
Bye.
then.